15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news, edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Indrani Senanayaka. The headlines. A cabinet reshuffle took place this morning. Dr. Ramesh Patirana has been appointed as the Minister of Health. A flood warning issued to some low-lying areas of the Nilwala River Valley. The President says Sri Lanka fully supports UNSG's program to stop Gaza conflict and establish peace. 5 arrested with over 200 kilograms of heroin on deep seas off the southern coast. News from overseas, dead and wounded strain Gaza hospitals as airstrikes intensify. In sports news, Sadira Samaravikrama says the team's collective effort and winning mentality became the central focus while playing. A cabinet reshuffle took place this morning, during which the ministerial portfolios of several ministers, including Mahinda Amarweera and Kehelia Rambukwella, were changed. Accordingly, Minister Amarweera was sworn in as the Minister of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, while former Health Minister Rambukwella was sworn in as the new Minister of Environment. Meanwhile, Dr. Ramesh Patirana has been appointed as the Minister of Health in addition to his current portfolio as Minister of Industries, while State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyamalapitiya was appointed as the non-cabinet Minister of Plantation Enterprises in addition to his current post. The new ministers were sworn in before the President at the Presidential Secretariat a short while ago, the President's Media Division reported. The Irrigation Department has issued an amber colour flood warning in some of the low-lying areas of the Nilwala River Valley in Kotapola, Pitabadara, Akurassa, Pasgoda, Athuraliya, Malimbada, Tihagoda, Matara and the Devinura Divisional Secretariat divisions. A warning is valid until 8 a.m. tomorrow. A considerable rainfall has occurred in some of the upstream and middle reach catchment areas of the Nilwala River Basin this morning. Accordingly, residents in those areas and motorists travelling through those areas are requested to pay high attention in this regard. Zonal education directors have been empowered to decide on closing schools due to adverse weather conditions in Akurassa, Deniaya, Mulatiana and the Walasmulla areas, according to the Director of Education of the Southern Province. Meanwhile, it is reported that the Matara-Kotapola road has been blocked from Kirilipana due to the collapse of an earth mound on the road, preventing vehicles from passing through. Moravaka-Neluva road is also blocked from the Moravaka town, and the Pitabadara area is flooded due to the Kiramo Oya overflowing. A 17-year-old boy has reportedly died after a mound of earth collapsed on a house in Kolanna. Our reporter said the incident had occurred last night and the deceased is an advanced level student of the Dorapana Maha Vidyalaya. Sri Lanka will give its fullest support to the UN General Secretary's program to stop conflicts and establish peace in Gaza, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said. We too are committed to giving our full support to the activities of the Secretary-General of the United Nations Council in resolving this matter and bringing peace to the region, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said while addressing the National Milad-un-Nabi celebration held at the Musali National School Stadium in Mannar yesterday. Speaking further about the Palestinian issue, the President said, "We heard that 20 food trucks have been sent to Gaza, but we must question whether this is enough." This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Cherished companion of microfinance banking, Samurde Community Bank.
We continue with local news. The Sri Lanka Navy has intercepted a local multi-day fishing trawler with over 212 kilograms of concealed heroin and ice drugs valued at over 4,000 million rupees on the high seas west of Galle. The interception was carried out by the Sri Lanka Coast Guard based on information derived from a coordinated intelligence operation conducted by the Sri Lanka Navy and the Police Narcotic Bureau. Subsequently, the suspicious trawler was escorted to the Dondra Fisheries Harbour for further search. The special operation mounted about 168 kilometers off the west coast of Galle has also led to the apprehension of 5 suspects abroad. The commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira, arrived at the Dondra Fisheries Harbour this morning to personally inspect the seized consignment of narcotics. An Indonesian passenger was arrested by the Narcotics Control Unit of the Sri Lanka Customs at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake last evening. The woman, who had arrived from Doha, had attempted to smuggle nearly 5 kilograms of cocaine into the country, the Sri Lanka Customs reported. Accordingly, the 42-year-old woman, who had come from Ethiopia via Doha, had hidden 4.59 kilograms of cocaine inside books in her luggage. The stock of narcotics is estimated to have a street value of over 230 million rupees, according to the Sri Lanka Customs. The National Movement for Consumer Rights Protection claimed even though the electricity tariffs have been increased several times, no steps have been taken to increase the period given to the customers to pay the bill. Its president, Ranjit Vitanage, said the electricity tariffs were revised twice this year and in 2022. A consumer who had used 180 units per month was charged a sum of 3,755 rupees. But a consumer who uses 180 units of electricity will have to pay approximately 10,500 rupees now. That amount is huge, and the time given to a customer to pay the electricity bill is 40 days. Due to the economic decline in Sri Lanka, the income of a family has not increased. Red notices have been issued to 253,465 electricity consumers who have not paid their bills in January 2022. Accordingly, the issuing of red notices has increased by 60%. This shows that electricity consumers in this country are facing difficulties in paying their electricity bills. That ends the local segment of news.
Your closest ally in microfinance banking. The front runner in uplifting low-income households, extending a hand to those aspiring to thrive. Your very own financial institution, Samurdhi Community Bank, with a presence of 1,089 branches throughout the island. Your closest ally in microfinance banking. Your steadfast financial partner, Samurdhi Community Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Public has been cautioned over the increased spread of 3 infectious diseases in the island as a result of the prevailing inclement weather conditions. Accordingly, the public has been warned of the spread of eye diseases, diarrhea and respiratory diseases, often associated with high body temperatures, and are therefore urged to take all possible precautionary measures while also paying attention to their personal health habits. Speaking further, in this regard, Chairman of the Public Health Inspectors Union, Upul Rohana, emphasized that personal hygiene plays an integral role in controlling the spread of the aforementioned illness.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
We now take a look at Watchlight. The number of dengue cases in several areas of the Western Province and in the Kandy district of the Central Province have increased. The National Dengue Control Unit says most of the breeding grounds for mosquitoes have been identified around schools and religious places in many areas. Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Nalin Ariratna, said 66,652 dengue cases have been reported in Sri Lanka so far this year. That came to you in Watchlight. And now we take a look at world news, the headlines first. Dead and wounded strain Gaza hospitals as airstrikes intensify. Gaza gets more aid as Western leaders stress need to protect civilians. The Maldives' new president wants India out. Dead and wounded strain Gaza hospitals as airstrikes intensify. At the Al Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in central Gaza, they are running out of material to cover the dead with. The bodies are stacked in a courtyard outside. Prayers are said and relatives collapse on the floor wailing in grief. Inside the hospital, doctors battle to patch up the walking wounded and save the gravely injured. But stores of medicines and supplies are dwindling by the day. A BBC Arabic reporter witnessed a facility overwhelmed with casualties, where doctors were racing to finish procedures before moving on to the next patient. The UN says 14 more trucks carrying humanitarian aid have reached Gaza, only the second such delivery in more than 2 weeks. Martin Griffiths, the UN's aid chief, said it was another small glimmer of hope for Palestinians, but warned they still need more, much more. Leaders of the US, UK, Canada, France, Germany and Italy have reiterated support for Israel while issuing a renewed call for civilians' lives to be protected. The Maldives president says that they don't want any foreign military boots on Maldivian soil. Mr. Mohamed Muizzu, who won the Maldives presidential election last month, said he is wasting no time in asking India to get its troops out of the country. The president-elect, who is due to be sworn in later in November, told the BBC in an exclusive interview that he met the Indian ambassador a few days after his victory and told him very clearly that every single Indian military personnel there should be removed. The Maldives has long been under India's sphere of influence, and Mr. Muizzu's demand is likely to trigger diplomatic tensions between Male and Delhi. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Dead and wounded strain Gaza hospitals as airstrikes intensify. Gaza gets more aid as Western leaders stress need to protect civilians. The Maldives' new president wants India out. That ends this bulletin of world news.
Development News.
Chairperson of the International Chamber of Commerce, Maria Fernanda Gaza, said rapid economic development can be achieved in the island through proper management of human resources, physical resources, advanced culture and rich heritage in Sri Lanka. She stated this when she arrived in the island last week on a 5-day visit. Sri Lanka has a very high cultural identity and diversity. But properly managing the resources, Sri Lanka has the potential to achieve very high economic development. Gaza also emphasized that the International Chamber of Commerce is ready to provide the necessary support to Sri Lanka to achieve economic progress. And now we take a look at sports news. Man of the match in the match against the Netherlands, Sadira Samarwikra.
Sports News is brought to you by Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Sports news now. Man of the match. In the match against the Netherlands, Sadira Samarwikrama emphasized that in the pursuit of a win, individual scores and centuries took a back seat as the team's collective efforts and winning mentality became the central focus. Samarwikrama was pleased with his personal performance, scoring an unbeaten 91, just falling short of a century. He acknowledged the fierce competition for a place in the team. He also praised Mahela Javardhana's guidance, and that was sports news.
Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. In a significant move towards environmental stewardship,
HEMA's partnered with Lanka Satosa to address the escalating plastic waste problem and promote sustainable living in local communities. Spearheaded by the Hamas consumer brand sales team, customers shopping at Lanka Satosa will be given a complimentary reusable eco-friendly bag upon purchasing HEMA's products. In the initial phase, 40,000 eco-friendly bags will be distributed across 440 Lanka Satosa outlets throughout the island. That was business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe states that measures will be taken to expedite the procedure of restructuring public institutions. Joining a press conference in Anuradhapura, Semasinghe pointed out that the restructuring program of loss-making state institutions is currently being carried out successfully in order to provide solutions to the current economic crisis. The State Minister also emphasized that the necessary discussions regarding the foreign debt optimization program is currently underway.